Hey guys, Joe here. Was in a porn addiction for about 17 years of my life. Was actively trying to quit for about 9 of them. Tried NoFap, 2 other paid programs. Didn't work out for me. This all changed in 2025 when I met Tom Molyneux and Mary Paulus, who taught me what's known as the Beyond Compulsion method. This method focuses on rewiring addicted neural pathways, and ever since then, I've been on it. I'm now an affiliate for them. Learn to stop correctly and most importantly, stay stopped. So today I had a talk with a prospect who, if you've watched other content on this channel before, you'll recognize the voice. Today he's come to sit down with me to sort of share his experience with porn addiction, all the thoughts and feelings that come up when he feels urges and what happens after relapsing, all the stuff that if you've been in a pornography addiction before, all the stuff that comes up when you're in that situation on the mental level. So this call is going to be very relatable. Of course, all of this is consented, and he was willing to share this recording with you all, while of course remaining anonymous. So you're going to hear me have this conversation with a prospect, and it's a usual conversation that I have with people. So hopefully you guys will learn a thing or two about how I talk to people, and most importantly, relate to all the things that we share about and shine a real big light on this issue of compulsive porn use and the thoughts and feelings that come up and arise when you're in that experience. I think this video is probably going to be good if you're going to listen to it in the background, but of course, do what you want, watch the video. But yeah, let's get into it. Good to see you. You've got on this call, and you're obviously not new to the channel, so like you've been on the channel with other videos and stuff, which is great. But yeah, you've come to sort of talk about this problem in your life, so props to you. And yeah, we're just going to share. We're both going to share, I think, on this call, but yeah, I'm going to break down sort of where you're at with things, with porn in particular, and then kind of break things down. I've certainly been on quite the ride. So I was in there for 17 years, and hopefully I can sort of break down why everything I used to try didn't work as well. So yeah, man,
first of all, thank you too for attending here, and it's good to see you too. I'm happy to be here, so we can do questions.
Yeah, no problem, brother. It's a pleasure having you. Yeah, so again, so how these like calls normally go down, you're expected to sort of share everything. Like guys hop on and they just feel like they only have to share like what they feel they want to share, right? You don't have to go into detail, but obviously whatever you want to share, absolutely fine. This is a safe space. The same thing happens with every guy I get on a call with. So it's just going to be a chill vibe, but we're just going to try and break down the problem and yeah, get to the bottom of it, where you're feeling with, like where you're at with things.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't feel so insecure about this as we speak in men, bro, like in friend groups. So I'm not that shy about it. So yeah, I'll be explaining honestly.
Awesome to hear, man. So yeah, I'll just get started with it. So how long have you been sort of in this problem for? Like how many years have you been in this problem for?
I'd say it's been 6 years.
Yeah, gotcha. So I started when I was 12 or 13 years old. And how long have you been trying to stop this problem for?
It haven't been so long time since it was not that big of an issue for me. I was like, yeah, I'm doing it and I don't feel guilty. So I wasn't thinking like I should actually stop this. But 6 months from now, I mean, it's been 6 months. I've been trying to quit this thing. So I can say 6 months.
Yeah, totally understand. I think when I was trying to quit as well, I didn't feel sort of too bad at the start. Of course, when I was relapsing, I felt pretty bad relapsing. But I think when I was growing up for like 9 years, I wasn't even problem aware. I was watching porn for like 9 years, thinking that there was no problem with it, thinking there'd be no consequences. And I think that's like pretty much the norm nowadays. It just catches up to you.
Yeah, I agragree.
Yeah, it just catches up to you one day.
Same goes for me, because from a young age, it's very common. A lot of men are doing this. So, and also in friend groups, they talk about this. So you don't actually feel like it's a problem. It just becomes like a routine, like a normal thing. So yeah, it can definitely take some time to realize it's bad.
Yeah, no problem, man. Exactly. I mean, like I sort of went through this in school. So like, guys were sharing porn through phones, through Bluetooth back then, right? And so it was everywhere pretty much. And then it just escalated because it was so normalized at that point for me, which I was like, okay, well, standard. People are just sharing porn, whatever, right? So yeah, no, very common problem. Okay, so 6 months, you've been trying to stop. So let me just have a guess. Is that, have you sort of looked at the nofap world, and is that like your main method? Because I think nofap is one of the main places that a lot of guys, well, certainly I started there, but a lot of guys I talked to started in that exact place.
Yeah, I've seen the nofap thing like three years ago. Maybe it's not a new thing, but me personally, I think I approached that way because I wouldn't say because, but I mean I just did it. What I did was I make a decision that I'm not going to keep doing this, and I was like pretty successful at it for 32 days. Let's say I've been successful for a month. Uh, which I did was basically not searching for porn and not masturbating. That was basically it, like willpower.
Yeah,
But
willpower.
yeah, I relapse. So here we are.
No, totally understand. Totally been there as well. I think a lot of us start off with willpower. And you mentioned days there, right? You said a month. So I'm guessing the sort of mindset that you're approaching it was like counting days, going on a streak. Would that be correct?
Yeah, it's correct. I was
Yeah.
not constantly uh, tracking days, but I was aware. Like I haven't done it for a week. I haven't done it for 2 weeks. I haven't done it for 3 weeks. I always keep track that.
It's always in the back of your head, I feel, when like you start,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's this
It's
kind of
like
metric.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's like pressing some urges. Like yeah, of course you get urges to do it. I was like feeling to do it, but I kept reminding myself, yeah, I've been clean for 2 months. I mean 2 weeks. So I just try to keep it going until the point I wasn't able to keep going. It just became worse for me. Like maybe socially, I don't know, but everything just tried to remind me of that feeling or that situation.
Yeah, totally understand. I think I remember when I started on NoFap, I was putting so much pressure on myself to get to like 7 days, 14 days, and however long I could get to, right? And I think when I was in the starting phase of counting and NoFap, 5 days, 6 days was like the max I could go. It was pretty exhausting to just like count days and be up on like feeling on a high note on like day 5 or day 6 or whatever, and then crash down on like day 7 because I relapsed on day 7.
Yeah,
And so
it's no different than any drug or alcohol addiction, I think, because you try to constantly stop doing that, but it happens eventually.
yeah, like you just come back to it. And I think part of this problem is obviously I've been through DCA now and I understand why all this works, but when you're using willpower, you're up against so many sort of mental models and mental blockers and internal dialogues that you're not actually aware of at the time. And using willpower against it is actually very counterintuitive. It seems intuitive to sort of, okay, well, I'm going to reach 30 days or 60 days or 90 days away from porn or anything, like you just mentioned, alcohol or like drugs.
Yeah.
But the problem is there's so much mental barriers that we're not actually aware of within that sort of time period, which is counteracting the process of being recovered and staying stopped, more importantly. But yeah, totally been there.
So so let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you think is it optimal to keep the days in track, or how do you do that? So
Yeah, so it's in terms of the mental model of stopping and staying stopped in a porn addiction, it's not very useful to count days due to the fact that one, you're living, let's say if you're counting, you're living in the past or the future. You're like setting this goal of like how long I can stay away from porn for, where let's say if you got to 30 or 60 or 90 days, yeah, sure, you're counting. And for some people, they may think it's helpful to sort of have this goal of perhaps gamifying the experience of stopping porn or any addiction. The issue is that when you're counting, you're not actually measuring how free you feel in the moment, because you could be like, say, 60 days, 90 days, or even like a lot of clients have come to us and they've said they've stayed away from a whole year. And by that time, I'm just like sitting there, that's freaking crazy, right? If I said
Yeah.
that, I thought I'd be like sort of sorted back in the day, right? But yeah, they told us that they stayed away for a year. But the problem is that year is just a painful year. Like, it's a year of just trying to not watch porn and struggling with urges and just feeling really crap about it, because you're doing this thing where you're one, staying away from porn and counting the progress, you're progressing. Where on the other hand, you're just feeling crap about it. You're trying to get through urges
Oh,
through brute force.
it,
And it's just not a way to live through that.
it's just like doing a boring diet.
Exactly. And the thing is as well, it's that you're not actually sort of connecting with the compulsive desire when it comes up. So we'll get onto this, I'm sure, in a minute. But when the urge comes up and it's very compelling, you know, you felt it, right? On day 30, day 32, you said like you've gone 30 days, over 30
Yeah,
days, that is.
last week's was horrible.
Got you, understand. And so, like, literally, when you were feeling all these urges in the moment, you were sort of feeling, oh my gosh, there was probably like this dialogue going in your head thinking, oh, it's so hard. Oh my gosh, I'm not sure I can do this. Or one peak won't hurt. And at the same time, you probably got like images of like a porn scene or a photo or something that you also have to deal with. And
Bro,
yeah, all
it's
these,
like
yeah,
maybe I was delaying that in the back of my mind because yeah, it's like achieving like a 1 month. Then after you try to uh, feel better about it, it's like that.
yeah, exactly. It is that sort of model that's employed
You don't
because
actually quit. You don't actually quit, but you delay it for some time, and after uh, you're going to do it again, but you don't feel as guilty as before because you think you managed to do something.
no, precisely, and I want to like I want to make this clear as well. I think because a lot of us have tried by counting days of willpower and
Yeah.
using this sort of metric of days as like periods of success and everything, living on this sort of calendar lifestyle where we're like tracking our relapses and all this stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I started there, and like I said before, it's counterintuitive, but it seems very intuitive when you're new to all this and trying to stop anything really. And so, yeah, like it's nothing to sort of beat yourself up about it if you are in that sort of mindset about it. We just don't know any better at the time. And so, yeah, it took me a while to sort of figure that out.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, man, you said you got to 30 days and trying to quit for 6 months. So of course we can gather that you're trying to stop for whatever reason, right? Or we can get onto that. One thing I want to ask you though is that with this problem that you're having right now, of being on counting and willpower, and when you relapse, like what is the pain that the relapse is bringing you in your life right now, if there's any?
Okay, so I'm going to be explaining personally for me. Uh, at first, I did not feel guilty
Yeah,
because in my head, I've been clear for a month. Then I'm just trying to feel a little bit relaxed. So it was like not bad at first, but after a few months pass by, uh, I realized that I'm back at where I was at before, and it felt like I'm stuck at this problem. It felt like this thing is becoming my daily routine, and it's just taking me over. Yeah, I was tired of it, bro. Not recently. I'm so tired of this.
yeah, totally understand. It takes up a lot of time, right? It feels like, okay, well, I'm sort of making time in the day to sort of watch porn or fap or like edge for however long you want to edge for. Totally, relate to that. I mean, it certainly took up like a big chunk of my time in terms of feeling that, well, there's an urge, and there's going to be an urge that's going to inevitably come up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking, right, well, better sort of plan for a relapse sort of thing, right? And it's this mental exhaustion because you do want to quit at the same time. You feel like you do want to stop, but you don't want to stop.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
there's that mental conflict that happens. Yeah.
Bro, this is exactly what's happening to me nowadays. Every day I feel like I don't need to do that, but yeah, it just naturally comes to that. I don't actually want to watch that. I don't actually want to do that, but I do it like I'm just brushing my teeth. It just, yeah, I don't want to do it, but it happens. I
Yeah.
don't, I don't feel the same pleasure as I usually. Also,
Yeah, totally understand. It's sort of like a tolerance cycle that builds up, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so, yeah, you kind of need to watch whatever other content to sort of get the same high and do more
But
stuff and
also,
for longer. Yeah,
uh, about tolerance, I'm not doing multiple times a day.
yeah,
So to be honest, I'm just doing it every day or at least 5 times a week, I can say. But
gotcha.
yeah, but it's not like naturally. I don't actually want to do this to like. The reason I'm doing it is not because I'm actually horny or anything. It just feels like I'm too bored. I don't have anything to do, and I want a quick dopamine hit. I think because I don't enjoy watching that scenes, but I do enjoy the feeling of the uh, how do I say, the conclusion of the thing.
Yeah, yeah. When you climax at the end, yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
yeah,
but also it also gets worse by time because you don't feel the same as you did.
yeah. Of course, of course. You sort of
So
feel like
yeah,
a
I
numbing
don't.
effect over
So,
time. Yeah.
yeah, I can say I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm just addicted to it.
Yeah, no, makes sense. It was this sort of feeling that I had when I was sitting there, like countless times thinking, why can't I stop? Why do I keep doing it? Why do I keep landing in this problem? Why is it that it keeps coming up in my life when I say that I would stop like a million times, right? And so I've been on
Yeah.
that cycle. I think what I want to touch on is a few things that you were saying. So this is just to clarify a few things, and it's all going to come off sort of this point. So what I'm gathering right now and what I gather from like every single call, including my own call that I've had with countless coaches at this point until, I definitely had it with Tom and also said it to Mary as well in my group calls. But yeah, like a core of porn addiction, a core symptom of porn addiction, when you've been trying to stop for years and years, even like you were saying, 6 months, whatever, is this sense of guilt and shame, right? Would it be fair to say that you feel a bit of guilt and shame after you relapse?
Uh, are you asking if I felt that,
Yes.
bro? Yeah, as I said, I didn't feel guilty or ashamed after managing to go through 32 days, but nowadays I do feel because yeah, I'm realizing uh, this is just ruining my confidence actually because I keep thinking like I watch people actually doing this thing and I every day go watch them doing this, trying to pleasure myself off of it. Yeah, it's like a loser thing, bro. It makes you feel like a loser.
Yeah, yeah, totally makes sense. No, 100% understand. It is a common thing as well for like just losing sort of like your self
Al-
integrity, even your self respect, even, yeah, like your confidence, as you say. This is very normal, man. Very, very normal to feel
Also,
when you're in this problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
also watching this stuff, uh, I think it can make you uh, don't want to get into sex. I've seen news like even married couples are choosing porn over actual sex. It
Yeah,
also, yeah, it ruins like every natural thing.
yeah, it is a situation where things have got out of hand, unfortunately. But yeah, thanks for sharing that as well, by the way.
No
Definitely relate
problem.
to it a lot. And yeah, one thing I want to mention is that you said that you know, going off the guilt and shame here that you feel after you not being able to stop for after when you relapse after 32 days, right? So once you
Mhm.
relapse after the 32-day streak that you counted, you're finding it right now to sort of get back on track on a streak sort of thing. And I didn't realize this fact until after joining BCA, but you know, Tom and Mary really made it clear to me that if you engage once, let's say you're on a streak, like let's say you engage once after being on a streak or being on this being on a time when you've abstained on it, and you're straight back into that state of like addiction, the psychological addiction, the physical addiction perhaps, but definitely the mental aspect of addiction. It goes back into full swing. Your desire comes back. You can have more desires once you're back in the addiction when you engage. So if you engage in it, that's what's going to bring the urges back. That's what's going to increase the desire. And I just want to make it clear here that the number one thing keeping somebody, any person, in a porn addiction is because they're engaging in it. Like that's what keeps you in the addiction, because it's engaging in it. You'll hear a lot of information, for example, that will be like, well, you might not be on your routine, or your sleep is bad, or this, that, and the other. And we'll get onto that, because this is what comes up. The mental side of things will come up with these sad reasons that you are engaging. It could come up with any reason. The truth is that the addicted part of the mind, the addiction, it doesn't need a reason to get you to engage. It just will do any route it can to get you to engage on the mental level. And so this is why when you get urges, it's like it'll make up any excuse, any irrational excuse, any sort of silly excuse that it can come up with in order to get you to engage. This is why urges are really compelling when they come up. It's why they're very sort of hard to sort of resist when they come up, because there's so much dialogue, so much imagery being, whizzing around in your mind. And it's getting the sort of the methodology and the practice and the education to sort of manage those moments in a correct way from a position of strength and power, which is what BCA is about.
Hey guys, so if you're familiar with the content at the moment, I just wanted to run through BCA real quick. So we've got a school community. We have, the normal bog standard community posts where we can share our wins, share our experiences, go to the classroom. And so if you were to join, this is what you go through. You would go through like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, so on and so forth. Everything is sequential. All modules are in a specific order. Everything is structured. And so when you click on one, you'll be able to go into the videos and actually go through every single step in order to install the new mental software, to get the new paradigm, to understand and ascertain the better way of processing urges, processing the addiction, and looking at this problem from a completely different lens. This is the exact steps that I went through. I did all this, plenty of stuff to look at, and every single week there are 5 calls that you can join. Calls that, number 1, will cover all the modules in depth. Anything that you didn't understand will be covered, just to get you onto the right track, just in case you missed something or misunderstood something. These calls are to correct your understanding on anything that you didn't quite understand. Second of all, we have the straight line calls. Guys that have already stopped and are on the straight line, processing urges, living in that state of mental freedom, processing urges moment by moment. We have 2 weekly calls for those guys to ask questions and address any concerns that you might have, if you have any, during the early time of staying stopped and enjoying that permanent mental freedom. So guys, once again, you know where the link is, 15-minute call in the description below. If you've been watching for a while now and you're thinking of signing up, let's have a call first, see where you're at with things, and we can see if BCA is the right fit for you.
So what I want to go back to here is the shame that you are feeling. And I want to just press on this a little bit, given that it is very expected and normal to feel shame in this situation. And by the way, I just want to make really clear here, like, sincerely, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling all these things. There's nothing wrong with you for finding yourself in this situation. You just simply haven't had the right education and methodology to deal with it. You didn't have the right sort of strategy to deal with urges when they come up. And so the first thing I want to say, man, is that there's nothing wrong with you as a person, as a human. You're just in a situation where your brain is wired to want to seek out porn in any way it can. And right now, that sort of addiction, the power of the addiction within you right now is just strong, and it's nothing to do with you. So what I want you to do is really separate yourself from the fact that there's you as a person, and there's the addiction. Two separate things. There's you and there's separate situation that you have in your life. So separate the two and let's start there. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely understand.
So I just want to, with that in mind, I just want to bring light to the matter that when you said earlier that you don't want to watch porn and you don't want to engage in porn, so I want to push back on that and say that, in fact, you do want to watch porn. You do enjoy watching porn. You just don't like the consequences of the climax. You don't like the consequences of what happens after you finish, right? And that's totally.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But my point was, I don't want to watch it every day. I don't want to keep looking at scenes every day.
Yeah. No, totally normal. And remember, it's totally expected for you to want to watch those scenes every day. Like, that's just a given, because, like I said, the addiction is in full swing. You've tried this, and with this willpower method that you're trying at the moment, it's very difficult to push back against all the mental dialogue and the mental noise and everything that's going on in your head and your brain if you're using willpower. And so what I'm saying here is that right now it's difficult to deal with all that stuff and connect with all the stuff going on in your head. And so don't feel that there's something wrong with you because you want to engage and you want to watch these scenes every day. Okay, simply, again, like I said, you've got the addiction is doing its thing. Okay, like when I started with Tom and Mary, I was thinking, yeah, I don't want to watch porn. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to be anything to do with it. But on a rational level, that isn't true, because if I didn't want to watch it, I wouldn't be watching it. Okay, I wouldn't be like seeking it. I would be sitting down, going on Google, trying to type my freaking scene up, right? It would be. Yeah.
Maybe the right sentence is, I don't want to be addicted to this. I don't want to be addicted to this thing.
Yes, that would be correct. The addiction giving you all the pain, and the addiction keeping you in the pain cycle. Absolutely. Being in addiction, like Mary Paula says, it's a full-time job, because being in an addiction, you have to deal with not just like obviously engaging in it, watching porn and then relapsing and feeling shame after it. There's all the other stuff that you got to deal with as well. There's like the lack of sleep, the lack of mental clarity, the constant second guessing yourself, the lack of confidence, as we were talking about earlier. All of this stuff that you got to deal with. If you're in a marriage, in a relationship, it's also puts a lot of strain on it. Even at work, it's hard to focus. It's hard to actually get that like clear mindset when you're going into work and focus on stuff, because you're feeling not just thinking about porn, but you're thinking about all this other stuff as well. But it's very noisy, right?
Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to ask you is that we talked about sort of urges right now, right? We talked about urges because we know that they're hard when you're in an urge, and it feels hard, right? When you're not prepared to deal with it. Can you explain any other sort of reason that goes through your head that tells you that it's hard to stop watching porn?
I just feel like I need to get the relief out of those actions. Yeah, bro. Personally, I find life pretty. So I'm just trying to get away from things to clear my head It's like a coping mechanism for me.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So when that happens, when that sort of inner voice happens, what I used to think was, oh, I need to release right now because there's so much, I'm full of tension. I'm full of just like, energy, all that stuff. And like those excuses will go around in my mind. Or it's like, oh, I've had a bad sleep. I've been in a bad mood all day. I've just been feeling crap today for whatever reason. Or I'm just like mentally exhausted. I'm going to go watch porn to like release tension, whatever, or release release the stress, as they would say. Is that kind of the dialogue that comes up?
Maybe I'm doing this because I don't have a partner right now, so I'm alone, and sometimes I have those sexual urges, but I'm not in a position to actually do natural relationships. So maybe I'm trying to press the urges by doing this.
Yes, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm saying that if I had a girlfriend or partner, maybe I wouldn't be addicted to this. I'm not saying I won't, but maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, I totally understand. What you're seeing is that you perceive the fact that if you had a partner in your life, that would be sort of your primary outlet for like your desires, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think a lot of us go through this point.
But also can add something to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
From my experience, I had a girlfriend a year and a half ago. But in that time, even though I'm in a relationship and sometimes we were making out, but still, regardless of that, I'd still look up for porn whenever I'm free, or if I haven't been seeing her.
Yeah, this is actually a key sort of evidence why when you're in a porn addiction, the way that you should sort of think about the compulsion, the addiction, is the same way you should think about when you have an addiction to cigarettes, for example, or eating, for example, because it's still a compulsion. You're still engaging in porn and you're feeling the negative consequences of porn. That is the definition. And that is what we would class as a compulsion. But yeah, what's important to note is that this is a common situation with guys in all recovery programs. Like they'll be married, they will have any partner, right? Yet they will still engage their addiction despite not wanting to feel the negative consequences of engaging in their addiction, right? And so like I said, if you view this as a separate addiction, as a separate sort of issue like compulsive eating or just being addicted to cigarettes, for example, what you'll find is that one of the common issues that kind of arises, especially with the other partner, the other half, is that he wants the porn, but he doesn't want me. Is that the guy has been in an addiction for a long time since he was a kid, and he's not been able to stop. He hasn't sort of found the method that's worked to stop and stay stopped, and he's still watching porn. However, what seems to usually happen is that they see it as like a form of perhaps infidelity and a form of cheating, for example, which it's a fair comment to be made. It's a fair assumption to speak. It's a fair sort of reason or mental position to take if you were on the other end of that. The reality, the fact is, just like any addiction, it's an addiction to be dealt with. And if you're engaging in an addiction and you haven't figured out how to stop, it's rarely the case that like the partner is picking porn over the real person. It's that they just haven't found how to stop, and it's just like any other drug. It's like any other addiction. They're not trying to choose porn over the partner. Yeah. They appreciate the partner a lot, but it's sort of like because they still have the addiction, they're engaging in the addiction as an addiction and not this sort of other outlet of cheating. But it's reasonable I'm not taking away the rational sort of things that go through the partner's head when they're thinking this, because yeah, it can feel like, why are they looking at that when I'm here, sort of thing. But I just want to, make that sort of the case. But just to bring back to what you were saying after that tangent, it's very common to still be engaging in a porn addiction while you're in a partnership with someone if you're sexually active. And obviously that's not a great position to be in, because one, you're less present, two, you've got all this mental conflict, so you're not going to be it's going to be a lot harder to connect with your partner. Third of all, you could have an issue where you have PIED, porn-induced erectile dysfunction. That certainly isn't going to be beneficial to any relationship. And so there's just a lot more to be lost than gained if you're watching porn in a relationship. So whether you thought, okay, well, if I was to get in a relationship, I would have all these urges go away for porn. Maybe not. You're not really sure until you get there. But when you get there, and if you get there, then if you're still having urges and you're in a position where you feel that you're not able to stop it, then you're certainly in that position of, compulsion, which definitely would be the best. And it would definitely be the best route to choose to get control of the situation.
About your program, my question is, why should I trust in this program, or what do you claim? Why do you think this is the right way? Can you explain?
Yeah, I think first of all would be the best sort of position to take on it would be, well, first of all, being through 17 years of addiction, trying to quit for 9 of them, been through 2 other paid programs, plus NoFap, and it's the only real thing that's made me able to stop after being through, BCA, learning the method, learning the 5-FACT script, applying the 5-FACT script, applying it consistently, making it my number one priority in life, following the simple system, and just applying it every day, living every day moment by moment. What's important is that, after having been through all these other programs and trying all the traditional stuff that we normally try, first of all, what I want to say is that I've certainly been living in the first person experience of an addiction for such a long time, 17 years. So has Tom. He's lived pretty much the same sort of timeline as I have. So has Mary. She's been doing this for 35 years and used it to stop her addiction with nicotine. And what's important is that with this program, when Tom talks about it, when I talk about it, and Mary, we sort of make sure that we articulate things from the first person experience of being in an addiction. We know what can come up. We know all the mental stuff that can come up. We understand all these thoughts and feelings and all this stuff, that turbulence that can come up. And it's not based on anything that's going to default to willpower on some sort of level. It's a completely different paradigm of thinking about the problem, of actually putting feeling free as the baseline and working from there. So you're not, instead of trying to stop and stay away from porn, you're coming into a position of staying strong, being in a position of strength and power, and choosing to stop or not. You can always go back into the addiction. I could go off this call right now with you and decide to watch porn, right? The thing is, I would have to deal with the consequences of that. Okay, I would have to deal with the consequences of going back into my addiction and feeling all the things I felt all the way back then, right? I can still do that. I always have that choice. My attitude is, I can watch porn, but at what cost? And it's getting into that mental position. It's not depriving yourself of it. It's not second guessing yourself on, okay, I want it, but I don't want to watch it. It's acknowledging and connecting with the desire when it comes up in the moment. And so the other thing I want to say is that when you have these programs, you really need a tool, which we have in the program called the 5-FACT script, and the education, of course. But the method needs to be simple. Porn addicts don't react well to a system where they have to work out stuff, where there's things all over the place, and then they have to sort of figure things out in the program and have a lot of these thoughts of second guessing what they should do. at any one time and think of all these other reasons why they've engaged or why they've relapsed and what didn't work, what did work, and all this stuff. It's following a simple, repeatable, pinpoint system where you're aware of what to do at every time, at every urge, at every discomfort, at every sort of negative feeling, and engage in the tool at that time consistently over and over and over and over and over again. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Can you explain how does the method work? For example, what kind of path do people follow?
So when they get into the program, the first thing that they're notified of is that, look, you're in an addiction right now. You're not ready to stop right now. You're not ready to stop. So don't even try to stop. Just learn the program, learn the education, go through it step by step, make sure you understand the information in the program. And then what happens is while they're going through the education, while they're learning, unpacking all these things about the addiction and installing the new like mental software, the new sort of way of thinking about the addiction, they then at the same time building up what we call the script, the 5-fact script, right? And so what happens is when they're confident enough with the education and with the script and what they need to do, they pick a date, they pick any date they want, and they will stop on that date, decide to stay stopped from a position of strength and power, and they'll know that they're ready because they'll feel ready, they'll feel confident because they'll understand the information, they'll know what to do. There's no second guessing. Like even on the calls, we check, not myself, but Tom and Mary check whether you're ready basically or not. And when they know that you're ready and you're ready to stop, you pick a date, you stop from that date and just use the method, use the script, read through the script over and over and over again. So just a bit about the script. When you're feeling an urge, you'd read through the script, you get into the present moment, you rationally think through the choice, and the script is designed in a way for you to like check off all these mental hurdles that might come up while you're feeling this urge. And so once you deal with them all and you're in a rational headspace, you decide, do I want to watch porn or do I not want to watch porn, right? And usually because you've thought through the choice, you've said your consequence list, you've said all these things, yeah, you eventually get into a position where the rational choice is not to engage.